there's an assumption with the help desk, and basically that is, and this should be an assumption I think that goes across all of us. We're basically all here to serve one higher purpose. We really do have one job in mind. That's what we're all here about. We're all here to graduate the students, and we all have our roles in this, and we support them, whether they're first-year students or whatever they're coming from. We all want that in the end. My role in this, of course, is to give you a tool to get that job done. That's what it is. It's this. And then if that tool is not working for you, I am failing in my job. If that tool doesn't make your job easier, I am failing in my job. And then there's a big barrier there, which is addressing security issues, addressing supportability issues. If we don't have a secure environment, we don't have a supportable environment, you don't have a tool that's doing the job. So this is the dance that we do. How do you get your job done? How do we make it so that you can get your job done? And the Dropbox and all these things that Carrie was addressing earlier, perfect example. We get the call, we need Dropbox, and we get the, that's not really as secure as we would like, so let's dance. And, all right, so moving on. So, who worked here in the year 2005, 2006? Anyone? Just one of us? Okay. I was expecting like a nice big room, and I could say, okay, any of you work at UCLA in 2005, 2006? Okay, there's my raise of hands, 2005, 2006. Be glad you didn't work in UCLA 2005, 2006. I'm sorry, this is not as legible as it should be. This is from the Washington Post. This is a screenshot I grabbed this week. Washington Post, UCLA. Again, not as bright as you can see. What it says up there, it had to alert, I can read it better here, I think, had to alert 800,000 current and former students, faculty, and staff because a hacker had broken in. And of course, if you get into this in the year, this was published, don't like this view, forgive me, I want to actually get out of this a little bit because I'm having trouble reading what's on the screen. And I'm going to do what works best for me. Is it going to go right back to the view that I had before? It is, doggone it, I don't like this. Never mind. Okay, so where were we? Let's just get on back to where we were. I heard at one point that they think they actually only had 5% of those 800,000 they had to contact actually had been hacked. 5% of 800,000, we're talking about 40,000 accounts there. That's not so cool. Right up here, this is an article from, I wish I could read this better, July of last year, about universities getting more, being the targets of attacks more and more often. And this fellow says, there's a Bill Mellon at the University of Wisconsin quoted here saying, this is highlighted, they get 90,000 to 100,000 attempts per day from China alone. A day. And again, this is, last summer. This is fairly recent information. And of course, this is Kaspersky Lab talking about an 87% increase in phishing attempts, which I'm certain doesn't surprise any of you because you get these. You get these. This is one, I'm sorry this is not visually presenting as good as it can. This is one that I personally received. A lot of people called me. This was last August. This one is from supposedly the Microsoft store saying that some guy by the name of Mason Moore had just bought $150 worth of equipment under my name. When people started calling me about it, it said it came from Amazon. It was usually closer to $1,000. So this is a phishing attempt that's made for you to go, oh no, have your, panic, fight or flight kind of engaged and override your higher thinking. Before you know it, you clicked on one of these links down below, the contact us, log into your accounts. If you mouse over those, they actually resolve to closeprojectsearch.eu. And now you're in the European Union and logging onto there and whatever their bad guy websites want you to do. That's how the bad guys are getting into us these days, these phishing attempts. And it works enough, they've increased their attacks at this 87%. So, this is the bad guys, they want in. They like us, and they really like student affairs because we have got financial aid. We have got the registrar's office. We have got the good stuff. Statistically speaking, our students will be college educated. A college educated person makes more money than the average person in the population, a better target for identity theft. They like us. They want in. We don't want them in. And an analogy that's been presented to me is we got the guards in front of the castle because we want to keep them out. But once they get in, we don't have the guards protecting people from going to door. So they break in through one of our multicultural center accounts or recreation accounts because people feel like, no, you know, what have I got that anybody wants? You got access, you got in, and then a sophisticated hacker can maybe, you know, work their way through. So that's what we want. We want them out, and that's why we don't want you to install your own software on the computers. That's why we ask for that. And you know, it's so easy to do. Here you go, update your Flash player. I grabbed this yesterday. There's the optional one. And right now, yesterday, it was Chrome. You see McAfee up here. You see other things. It's really easy to incidentally download the software on your computer. Chrome's probably not going to, you know, harm you, but it makes the computers a little different from how we set them up to work. And then I have to be smarter when it comes to supporting it. And then we get back, you know, supportability, security, those things. So what am I on? 12. So any software you get, of course, should come from the applications that's on your desktop. You should be seeing this. That gets you here. There's a Flash player update. This one is actually not on the web. This is on one of our network servers. It will come in. It's not going to try to give you McAfee at the same time. So that's how we like things to go. 15. So Help Desk has a job of giving you the tool to get your job done, to graduate the students. How many are there? The conservative estimate is that we have 800 computers, divisional computers that we're supporting. That doesn't include the developer computers. That doesn't include certain labs that we've got. That's just the machines that are out there doing the job, supporting approximately 1,200 users. Again, rough estimate right there. And of course, the Help Desk. Who's the Help Desk? That, of course, would be Mark Weinsoff, Vince Leo, Bob Daigle, and me. I've got an anecdote. I'm going to skip it right now. So I put it out to them, and I said, I'm going to be doing this presentation for CommCollab. Hey, guys, what do you want me to say? And as my cohorts spoke back to me, I thought, they basically had one thing. And what I was told by my colleagues reminded me very much of a conversation I had with one of our own, not too long ago, year and a half ago, something. I met with lunch with one of our friends and said, you know, how can we be of better service to you as our end user? And the answer that really stayed with me, communication. And I've really kind of let that be my guiding light recently. How can we communicate better as a help desk out to you? And it turns out that's what the help desk wants back from you. We want the communication to come in. We want you to use us. And kind of they said, you know, tell us the problem, don't give us your solution. Problem, I've got information I need to get. Don't call me and say, I need Dropbox. Tell me, I've got something on Dropbox I can't get to. There's the problem. Let's work toward the solution together. I hear, well, let's see, tell us your problem. Move on to, come to us, please. There may be other people in your office who are really, really smart, who know computer stuffs. They're not help desk. They're not going to have quite the same background that I do, or knowledge of how everything all links together quite the way that we do. If things are difficult to do, they shouldn't be. It's a tool that's enabling you to do your job. If it's difficult, please call us. Hopefully we should make it not so difficult. Let us know your software needs. And don't assume I'm busy. I get that call. Krystal, I know you're really, really busy. Could you please? I'm busy helping you. That's what I get paid to do. And I love my job like crazy. I love my job. So don't think that I'm too busy to work with you. I'm certainly not. It comes down to, again, security, supportability. But now we need to hear from you. Ways to contact us, standards. I can be pulled up, I don't know if you can't see that at all. This is emailing support. There's the chat, 7962. The help desk website, I didn't put that up. I think there's going to be some changes happening there soon. So hopefully more user-friendly, better thing. And announcements. The help desk website is being built. And I myself am charged with putting the content on there. And I want to know what you want it to look like. In the end, this is your help desk's website. And I'm going to take my best guess given the calls that I get and what I know are the issues. And how can we make this a proactive site so that before you get locked out of your account, you can get that information. What do you do about this? Or the trouble with the printing? What can you do? Not necessarily prior to making the call, but to enable you, to educate you to be a more educated population that we're working with, and to give you more resources. And I am all ears about that. Yes?
So what are maybe the top... Oh.
It's our fireside chat now.
Oh, no, I don't. What are maybe the top 3 or 5 help desk issues, like the most popular?
I was for about 2 weeks, every time a call came in, I took a note on what that was. I can't log in / password trouble. Definitely number 1, by far and away. And with the Windows 7 environment, I'm finding it's a little bit funky. I had somebody call the other day, and her password had expired, and I think she couldn't log in from home. She couldn't use the Global Protect to connect back in. Her password was expired, and she had to change the password, had to work with me on that. And I'm wondering, how did she miss it? How did she miss the prompt to change her password? And when we have our next meeting or sometime, I want to bring this up. If you don't log out often enough, I think you might miss the prompt to change your password. If it expires on the weekend, I don't know. I'm learning about that. After that, printing. And the thing with printing is there's so many variations there. Is it a local printer? Is it a network printer? Do you need a driver update? Are we having trouble with the server? There's a lot of troubleshooting that I then do after that. And after that, there really isn't much of a theme. It really is very individual. The calls are very different. The personalities on the other end of the phone are very different, There are people that I connect with right away. I had a phone call the other day with somebody. We bantered for 5 minutes before we actually got into the issue. And it really is kind of all over the place. So I guess that's, yes, sir.
Developers, how can we help you help us help you help them?
Ooh, I like where you took it. Yay, you. Huh? Repeat the question, yes. So how do the developers help us to help them to help everyone else? Yeah, that's how that goes. Let's go back to the miles slide. Communication, I guess. There's an assumption when there's a developer machine out there that you got the smarts to maintain that computer on your own. And if you choose to put Chrome on there, that's your choice. You can do that and support it, and whatever comes up with that, or whatever it is that you need to do to make it a workable thing. And then we honestly don't work with the developer machines that often. It doesn't come up that much. Either people live with the quirks, or they don't have problems.
I have a very concrete example.
Yes, I'd love to hear it.
I was missing a component of my Access installation on my desktop, and so were all the client machines in our office for all the users. So when I went to go do something, I could fix it. But all of them, that would take a very long time. So I did actually open a ticket.
Okay.
The user, I told her to submit a ticket saying, this is missing on my machine. Can I have it? Is that the right way to do, is to send each individual user the help desk to open a ticket? Is there a better way?
No, it's probably... If you're down in your scenario there, you're telling me that you know that this was a component that was missing on all machines in the department that you're working with. In which case, we're going to have an enterprise solution for that. We don't want to do a onesie twosie solution for that. So I think that is appropriate to come at a higher level back to us, rather than have the end user submit it, knowing there are 15 other end users that are going to have to do this. Another thing I think developers could really do is be very aware of our end user environment. A case example here. There were some websites that were developed and not for Internet Explorer, which I understand is not really the favorite of developers, generally speaking. It's what we have put in place as historically the browser that we support. It's the one that caches the cookies, the favorites, and your browsing history to the network drives. Therefore, you pull that up anytime you log into any of our network computers because it lives on your H drive. And then we had websites being developed that were products that weren't really running very well in Internet Explorer, so our developers were telling the end users, just use Firefox. And at that point, I think Firefox, we hadn't made that as readily available. And then we had the conflict where our users are being told by the developers one thing and being told by the help desk something else. So that awareness of the end user environment, I think, is also pretty important.
If we get a phishing email, the protocol, I usually just delete it now.
Yeah.
Should I forward it to you all, or?
You should just delete it.
Okay.
If you forward it to me, then I'm going to put it in my training class and put it as another example of yet another phishing attempt. So it's kind of cool for me to have that ongoing refreshed model. But yeah, supposedly our Barracuda spam filter catches up eventually, finds, okay, here's a phishing, and starts blocking those. So you shouldn't be seeing repeats on the same guys too often. But when they're new, they get through.
I have one more question.
Yes, please.
It might be an issue or not issue, but it might come up with collabers. A lot of us have Adobe Creative Cloud
Yes.
machines, or we're getting Creative Cloud, and Adobe makes occasional but fairly often updates available, security patches or their whatever. Whenever we can't make those updates on our own, what's the preferred method? And maybe it's being worked out.
I think that's in process. I think it's a new enough concept. What we like to go with is always the enterprise rollout. As much as we can hit as many people, you log into your computer pulls in everything that you need, and you don't have to think about it anymore. Rather than, again, going to the onesie twosies. We like to get, that's 1,200 users and 4 support people, as much as we can cover with a blanket everybody and get as much done as efficiently as possible. That's what we really want to do. And that's the brilliant and frustrating thing with technology is it's always moving forward and shifting and changing and amorphous and a new thing all the time. So it's the Creative Cloud now. 3 years from now, we're having a different conversation. Just like, 3 years ago, we were having a different conversation. So, we're always going to have to be in the process of working it out, Communication.
So call help desk.
7962, or go to our website once we get that there, which is going to happen.
So my office is thinking about getting some Creative Cloud licenses.
Yeah.
Can you go through help desk to do that after, or just let you know that we're doing that?
Do you know?
Yeah, I think it's always best to work with Mark on that. They'll, at least if anything, they can have a heads up of who in the division has Creative Cloud.
Okay.
And the university, UC, is working with Adobe on creating an enterprise license structure that's
wonderful.
affordable. It's kind of, as soon as Adobe rolled out Creative Cloud, everyone in higher ed started barking about the pricing structure. So UC, Adobe rolled out an enterprise solution. UC is working with them to develop something off of the enterprise solution that they call VIP, which I cannot remember what it stands for, and it's not very important to people, even though we are, to where they can widely deploy this. Whenever you create or purchase an Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, now you're locked in for a year. I kind of figure, we've been working with Joe McClain, Cheryl Shavak, a couple of the folks on campus. I figure it'll take a good year to hammer that agreement out. And right now, Adobe Creative Cloud is available. It's attached to an individual user, which is different from how the division prefers to do that. We like to tie these to machines. But anyway, but I think it's good to give Mark a heads up and that it's for CommCollab and more
Yeah.
purposes.
Yeah, I think Mark Weinstoff has been more involved with that.
Thanks so much, Krystal.
Thank you.